Hello, I am Mayor Watt. I'm the person that runs that site right there. I'm looking up because there's a monitor right there. Anyway, welcome to another episode of the ohmTown Daily News Show. This is where I take a bunch of articles that my aggregator, which is that site right there, compiles throughout the day. Throws them into 6 categories, which are create, news, education, entertainment, social, and technology. And from there, it filters it into 50 shows. Each one of those shows I intend to bring to Twitch. And by way of Twitch, over to YouTube for long-term storage and access, as well as a podcast. ohmTown right now is actually live on YouTube. It is live on podcasts. You can go to Spotify, or you can go to Google Play Podcasts, or to Apple Podcasts. There's a Twitch channel, of course, that's going to be slowly grown into additional channels. And there's a Discord, and I even have a TikTok, but I don't do anything there. But it's on my radar. I am but one person. And I'm doing this part-time until I can get a lot of people interested in hanging out and talking about the news. So go and tell a friend, because I'm not advertising. I'm trying to see how this plays out, but I know that the time frame in which I do my show is not necessarily the best, because I talk about the last 24 hours and I do it at 6 o'clock. I'm starting to get the feeling that maybe people want it earlier. So I'm thinking about moving it from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. I don't know. We'll see. At any rate, what I do is I talk about 20 or so articles. I'm having a weird look on my face while I'm doing this. You won't be able to see that on the podcast, but I am making a weird face. Well, I've already selected the 20 articles. You can go over to ohmTown.com and you can actually see where I select all of these articles from. It happens 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, rain or shine. Let's get into today's articles. The very first article is this one here. I throw them into chat. If you're not here and you are listening to this, they're in the show notes. So you can mash those links. It'll take you over to ohmTown.com. You can read the little snippet that my aggregator grabs, and then you can follow the link that says visit the source, and it'll take you over to the source. While I talk about it here on Twitch and again over to YouTube and the podcast, the idea here is I add a little bit of context from my particular perspective. I focus on 3 main things: business, technology, and society. I merge them into one thing, and I talk about it from that context. Context really matters to me, so I don't really rely on just one fact pattern to make my judgment, and I encourage you as well to absorb copious amounts of information and don't really take one specific source too much to heart, because usually there is some bias in all reporting, even in my own. I try to be very conscious of it and speak about it. For instance, you won't find me ranting and raving in a positive way about Facebook, because my historical experience with Facebook is that they pretty much do whatever they want to, and they can get away with it because it's run by a billionaire and has financial gain from pretty much doing whatever it wants. For instance, they manipulated the emotional fabric of its users by manipulating the news that people consumed. It wasn't simple manipulation, and the results were that they were psychologically, the users, 700,000 of them were psychologically manipulated. I think it's unethical. There was a profit motive there. Well, at any rate, I don't harp on one particular thing, and so we end up with 20 very broad spectrum articles. And I give my attitude, my perspective, my tilt on these things. And I hope that you do the same in chat. And I can even drag you up there. There's some blank space up there, but I'll open up another window and I'll plop you there. And you can talk to me live right here, right now. Let me know in chat if you're interested in that kind of thing. Well, anyway, let's get going. This is in the Bead Baby channel, which is basically a show that I want to spin up that talks about jewelry findings, jewelry crafting, beads in particular, but I want to start an auction show live on Twitch. This here is the woman who designed 2 Fabergé Imperial Easter eggs. The famous Peter Carl Fabergé workshop in St. Petersburg designed and produced a total of 50 unique handmade bejeweled Easter eggs for the Russian royal family from 1885 to 1917. Fabergé was an astute businessman who employed some of the best craftsmen in the industry. He and his staff were given complete design freedom and carte blanche to create the eggs. And each one typically took a year. Let's click this link. It takes us over to Beating Gem. Beating Gem, by the way, is this person right over here on the right side. Pearl Blade, aka the Beating Gem. If you go over to beatinggem.com, you'll be able to see this article in all its glory. Has some pictures, has some, pictures of a person who designed the eggs, and a couple of pictures of the eggs. Some of them are pretty out there. And it says here, Alma Pihl, I think it's pronounced, Pihl. Was a rarity, one of only 2 female designers in the company. Her Finnish grandfather, August Hallström, was Fabergé's lead jeweler. She was the niece of the other female designer, Hilma Alina Hallström. Her uncle and brother were also master jewelers. Guess it runs in the family. And they go into some detail about this and additional pictures. But I'm more interested in drawing attention to this site and the person that runs it and all of the information that is provided. So please go over to beatinggem.com and read the rest of this. I don't have any relationship with beatinggem.com other than I really appreciate the pictures and the history and the techniques that are disclosed and pretty much everything about it. You may not like every article, but really, whoever does like everything that's ever presented. So anyway, it's pretty interesting stuff here. Very expensive, rare. I'd say one of a kind, but there's 50 of them. Let's continue on to the next article. This next article is Elon Musk will not join the Twitter board after all, according to the company's chief. Parag Agrawal says largest shareholder has declined offer and, quote unquote, I believe this is for the best. Elon Musk has performed a U-turn on joining Twitter's board despite becoming the social media company's largest shareholder with a 9.2% stake. I think that being on the board would kind of neuter him in some way because he wouldn't be able to be an activist investor to such a great degree. That's my opinion. I don't think anything would really stop him if he wanted to, but there's a whole lot of other investors involved in this. And the more that a board member talks about from a perspective of trying to change the direction of Twitter, ends up having some legal liabilities. Again, he's a multi-billionaire. I don't think that he could really care because anybody that takes him to court, he could probably make more money on his investments than would cost him by running multiple lawsuits. It just doesn't really matter, I don't think. But it says here, The world's richest man was due to become a board member on Saturday, but Twitter's chief executive said on Monday morning that Musk had declined the offer. Musk, who's worth $260 billion. Hold on a second. Let me see something here. I'm going to do something. So let's say a paltry 3% is returned. So let's say a paltry 3% is the return on investment across his net worth. Okay. Obviously, it's a subset of that that's actually liquid enough to do an investment. But let's just say he has full liquidity of that 260 billion, and it's all invested across a swath of high risk and low risk investments. And the lowest, let's say, is less than 1%, and the highest is upwards of 9%. So you can kind of throw around a 3% investment average. He will be making $7.8 billion a year in interest alone at a 3% fixed rate, not compounding, just fixed. So, yeah, I don't think it's really an issue. Obviously, I'm being very simplistic about this, because if he was maybe he only invests 100 billion. Anyway, I better move on. So he's not going to join the board. This is an article over at The Guardian. Oh, I did not say. Yeah, I did. Did I not say? Yeah, it was the beating gem on the previous one, and on this article, it's over at The Guardian, and Dan Milmo, global technology editor, is the writer for this article. Not quite a flattering picture there of Elon Musk, but I think he's maybe looking at Twitter saying, do I want to be on the board? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. So let's see here. Announcing on Twitter that Musk would not be joining the board, Agrawal said, I believe this is for the best. We have and will always value input from our shareholders, whether they're on the board or not. Elon is our biggest shareholder, and we will remain open to his input. I'm not seeing here what else. We also believe that having Elon as a fiduciary of the company, where he, like all board members, has to act in the best interest of the company and all our shareholders, was the best path forward. The board offered him a seat. So, yeah, he bowed out. And I think it is that fiduciary duty. I think it would just get messy. Well, now on the outside of the board and beyond arm's reach of any influence therein, short of being just a stakeholder, he can do whatever he wants and try and be an activist investor in that way, not on the board, where the optics are a little bit more straightforward. Definitely would, like, mistakes and other misactions would definitely weigh heavier on Musk's reputation or perception by the public if he was on the board. Now, basically, he can yell at the board and call them idiots all he wants. This next article is over in the Hedge Ideas channel, and it says BlackRock says the Fed won't be as aggressive as the market expects in hiking interest rates. Now, they could have insider information or closer information to the vest than other people. This happens when people are connected and get information. So here it says the world's biggest asset manager said the Federal Reserve won't raise rates as much as the market expects. BlackRock's Thomas Taw said the Fed will soften its approach once inflation starts declining. Well, let's see if it happens. This is the Fed raised rates by 25 basis points in March. with markets pricing in a further 50 hike as it tackles record inflation. I don't think this inflationary trend is going to stop. It says we are tightening dynamic. We are in a tightening dynamic. We are in a tightening period. Let's see what else is said. This is a Business Insider article written by Hamza Farid Malik. That's funny. Now you got a picture of a car driving past the Federal Reserve building in Washington, and it's kind of a blurry picture, kind of maybe trying to provoke an accelerating inflationary trend. I like it. Redshift of a car. Let's see. So the head of APAC iShares investment strategy, Thomas Ta, said, "We are in a tightening dynamic. We are in a tightening period, but I don't think it's going to be as aggressive as the market is pricing in at the moment, which is very, very aggressive." Yeah. Cost of living continues to go up a whole lot faster than the average 3%. It says here, futures markets show investors believe U.S. rates could be as high as 2.75 by the end of the year, compared with 0.5 right now. So, believe me, if this continues the way that it's going, you're going to see some tremendous interest rates. And we thought that interest rates were bad for credit cards. Just wait. It's going to continue. A 50 basis points rate hike will be the first for the Fed in 20 years, as the central bank has not raised interest rates by that much since 2000. And then 9/11 happened. The Fed said it will cut its balance sheet and wind down its assets buying as well. Yeah, this is going to get messy, folks. So strap in. The next article is over in the Word in Tech, not the World in Tech. Researchers map lung development after birth into late childhood for the first time. The little snippet is, how do the lungs develop after taking their first breaths outside the womb? What cellular events and changes early in life give rise to lung malfunction and disease? To help answer these questions, scientists have constructed the first single-cell atlas of postnatal lung development in humans and mice. So if anybody asks you if you're a man or a mouse, you can say, well, research can be conducted on both. So maybe I'm a mouse? I'm not sure. I can't stretch that into anything that makes any sense. Anyway, researchers map lung development. So they have this graphic here. I'm not sure how it all plays into the research that is done. It looks like it might be slices of lung tissue. So it says a map of lung cell types that were profiled via single cell sequencing. The research could help provide a more detailed understanding at the level of individual cells of which genetic and epigenetic factors affect lung health across the human lifespan, starting from birth. Yeah, I think this is a really neat area of research because it allows us to figure out exactly how the lungs function and how maybe we'll be able to do repairs. Because right now, if you smoke and for any extended period of time, your lungs are being coated by debris that you are inhaling, and then it kind of clogs up everything and it permeates very deep into, because of the way that the lungs function. There's no easy way to repair. Well, there's no way to repair lungs. You basically have to have a lung transplant if you start losing capacity. And that's just far and few between. So it says these are unique samples that we've collected information on during a time in lung development that has not been well studied, said first author Thu Elizabeth Duong, a physician scientist in pediatric respiratory medicine at UC San Diego School of Medicine and pulmonologist at Rady's Children's Hospital in San Diego. Quote, these are exciting, or what's exciting is being able to see at single cell resolution what the lung cells are doing at this stage in development. And their goal is to make a reference map of lung tissue. Pretty neat stuff there, folks. This is fundamental research, fundamental science. This next article is in the Mobile channel. What is Sonder? The cross between an Airbnb and a hotel, and this gets explained. The author says, I once stayed in a shared Airbnb in Brooklyn that was a bit, well, meh. Not gross or unsafe. The cat was chill. The bed was clean. It was just kind of schlumpy when you stared at it for too long. I just shrugged. I only needed a place to sleep after all, and I think that it's outlook we gamble with when we book Airbnbs. We're here for the convenience and the affordable prices, and unless we're booking that Vermont Airbnb with a sauna, we tend to settle for the room that is quote-unquote close enough to what we saw online, and it's almost always fine. This article's over at Vice. It's written by Mary Frances Knapp. Let's see. Squeaky clean love child of a personal pot à terre and a boutique hotel. I guess that's what a Sonder is. Okay, so let's see what else is in this article. Sonder hopes to combine the personableness, coziness, and affordable prices of a home share experience with all the professionalism of a hotel. Okay, the vacation home rental platform leases and manages its apartments, so you're not stuck trying to text that host guy Jeff about where the hide key is or look away from his bunk tile grout. Yuck. Quote, we thoroughly clean and disinfect each Sonder before and after every stay, the company says on each listing. It also offers self-check-in and 24/7 guest support via the Sonder app, so you can limit in-person interactions at its various apartments. Wow. This dude tested a Sonder. They use it as a noun, roll with it. That even had its own elevator. Okay, let's see if there's some pictures of these things. 1 bedroom, gives an address, sleeps 4, $96 a night at Sonder. Yeah, $96 a night? That's not bad. If you're going to San Diego, it's $200 a night. Sleeps up to 6 in a warm 2-bedroom at Jackwell Flats. I used to live in San Diego, so I'm not sure where that is. But I've forgotten quite a bit. It's been a while. New Orleans, Mexico City. Sorry. Wow, this one's really neat. Quaint room at Casa Tonala. Sleeps up to 2. $837. Which is, when it translates, it's $55.31 US dollars. That's pretty neat. I like that. Pretty cool. So go over to Vice and you can find out about it. It looks like it's just a little more personable, higher end, better managed Airbnb hotel experience through something called Sonder. So the next article is over in the Daily News Show, which is this show. University of Southern California sues YouTubers over pranks. What do you think of that? The University of Southern California is suing 2 YouTuber performers who the school says created panic after barging into classrooms to film prank videos for their channels. Yeah, go ahead. I think that's fine. This is an Associated Press article. It says the University of Southern California is suing 2 YouTubers who, oh my goodness, I don't want to film. I don't want that on my stream. Let me see if I can. Ugh. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let me just scroll up and get rid of this. So it says court documents obtained by the Los Angeles Times claim the pair caused terror and disruption during 3 classroom takeover incidents in the university's Mark Tieper Hall of Humanities. This is an article by Associated Press. YouTubers, I'm not even going to bother, are not USC students. They could not be reached for comment Monday, and it was unclear whether they have attorneys who could speak on their behalf. A judge on Friday issued a temporary restraining order banning the pair from USC's downtown Los Angeles campus. In the incident on March 29th, they interrupted a lecture on the Holocaust while pretending to be a member of the Russian mafia and Hugo Boss, a known manufacturer of Nazi uniforms during World War II, according to court documents. They're sociopaths. I mean, they're idiots. Why do something like that just a prank, bro? You know, and I have no problem with humor. You can crack a joke. I don't think that I would have been upset because of the Chris Rock joke. This, you're actually barging into a school and disrupting everybody's lives to try and get clicks. So you're going to get thrown in the clink is what's going to happen. More than 100,000 subscribers. Well, those subscribers need to pay attention. This is not socially responsible. You don't just go barging into a college. You don't go barging into a place of higher education. You don't barge into a place of education anywhere. I better continue on to the next article. Philadelphia to restore indoor mask mandate amid case surge. This will continue to happen as long as people don't get vaccinated and refuse to wear a mask. So, Philadelphia is reinstating its indoor mask mandate after reporting a sharp increase in coronavirus infections. Michael Rubenkamp from Associated Press over at ABC News wrote the article. And it says here, it's become the first major U.S. city to reinstate its indoor mask mandate after reporting a sharp increase. Confirmed COVID-19 cases have risen more than 50% in 10 days, the threshold at which the city guidelines call for people to wear masks indoors. This will continue. The next article, I'm going to keep on charging through today's articles. Metal Max Xeno Reborn hits the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC on June 10th. I have never even heard of this. The Western release of the reimagined version of Metal Max Xeno is coming in a few months. This is an article over at rpgsite.net, written by Josh Torres. And looks like it says P-Cube has revealed that Metal Max Xeno Reborn is coming to the West on June 10th for PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, PC via Steam. It first launched in Japan on September 10th, 2020. 2 years later, we get it here on the West. Boasts a number of new features, including a new graphical engine, the support dog Pochi, the removal of random encounters, and more. There is a trailer over on rpgsite.net. I encourage you to go over and watch it. Plus, there's a whole bunch more text from the article. So go on over and check it out. The next article is over in Stock Marketeers. This is Market Extra. Amazon pulls trigger on up to $12 billion bond after buying MGM and the James Bond franchise. Amazon sees robust demand Monday for a big debt financing that follows its purchases of the fabled MGM movie and television studio. Let's click the link. Throw that link over there in chat. This is a MarketWatch.com article written by Joy Wiltermuth. They tend to do their edits, and so there's an edit here. Somewhere in the text, there is an edit. We always say the investors like higher yields. They just don't like the path to get there, says Invesco's Brill. The famous James Bond line about a martini might also apply to the cool under pressure U.S. corporate bond market on Monday, as Amazon.com Incorporated raised $12.75 billion from investors, despite a gut-wrenching backdrop for debt markets. Demand for Amazon's 7-part bond financing was robust, with orders peaking at more than $30 billion, and investors getting the chance to own the company debt at some of its highest coupons in 2 years. The new $2.5 billion 10-year slice of bonds, priced at 85 basis points plus the Treasury rate, according to Informa Business Intelligence, with the 10-year Treasury yield at 2.715, soaring to 2.78 on Monday. That equates to a coupon of 3.6. Let's see. They purchased MGM just a few weeks ago after agreeing to pay $8.5 billion in cash for the nearly century-old company behind Rocky and James Bond franchises. Credit sites analysts pegged Amazon's cash hoard at $92 billion. Fascinating. So much money. All concentrated in a company owned by a billionaire. So the next article is over in Stock Marketeers. It's in the crypto sector. Bitcoin plunges below $40,000. Here are important levels to watch. It says Bitcoin has plunged about 8% to trade below $40,000 as investors eye the Consumer Price Index data to be released on Tuesday, while continuing to digest the Federal Reserve's plans to aggressively raise interest rates and shrink its balance sheet. This is a MarketWatch article written by Francis Yu. Bitcoin could trade as low as $30,000 by June, according to Arthur Hayes, a co-founder of crypto exchange BitMEX. And there you have it. The volatility of Bitcoin is pretty tremendous. Back in March 15th, it's around 38,000, and now it's at 40,000. After climbing as high as 50, closer to 50. So the thing about it is there's so much uncertainty with it, and who knows if the government is going to ever really embrace Bitcoin. I don't think they ever will. In fact, I think that they're going to try and move further away from it and marginalize it more. The reason why it has any value is because it's pegged to the US dollar, not because in spite of it. It's simply that there's a constrained number of Bitcoins, and it's getting more and more difficult to get Bitcoins, but I don't think people are going to continue to accept it in the greater sense. There's just a very large contingent of people that do embrace it. But I think that it's all fear of missing out and wealth chasing wealth nowadays. Back in the beginning, it was a bunch of people that were trying to get on the early bus of this. We'll see how it all plays out. Let's continue on. The next article, Watch of the Week, the Supreme Collector on the Timex he'd never sell. Let's click this link and just go on over to it. This is an article over at Hodinkee. I'm going to click the link just so that we can get there fast. And the article is written by Eric Whiteback. Sometimes it seems like every collectible watch costs as much as a condom. Here's a rare Timex that's plenty collectible, but not because of the price. It's because the thing was just about impossible to buy. So let's see. Well, this is the author speaking, not me. I will just say this up front. I'm not a lifelong watch enthusiast. I'm a collectibles guy. I'm an especially big fan of the brand Supreme. Interested in streetwear and sneaker culture and all of that. I create content around Supreme, streetwear, sneakers, collectibles, and more on social. That said, they've always appreciated watches, and they have their eye on a few different Rolex, and they own a commemorative watch that has some sentimental value from when my college team won the NCAA Division III Men's Soccer National Championship. So, got into Supreme when they were in high school around 2012. I liked a couple of pieces. Let's see, where is this watch? I mean, I saw the watch up there, but this is the watch. A Timex Indiglo. This Timex was one of the most hyped up items for the week that it dropped in 2019. Really? There was a whole process to even get a chance to wait in line to maybe buy the watch. Tuesday morning, you had to go on to Supreme's website and try to register for the release, and that sold out in 30 seconds. So let's continue on. I'm not really sure why this watch was so amazing. There's no price here, but it says at the bottom line, is that this watch? Hold on, I need to back up. And the bottom line is that this is really the first watch I've ever really worn. It's a classic Timex model with a little bit of extra flair to it. There's not really a whole lot of branding on it. And then when you hit the Indiglo light, the Supreme box logo comes through. Interesting. So that's kind of a minimalist watch as far as digital watches go. It's a digital watch, so not really my style of watch when it's not an Apple smartwatch. You know, if it's an Apple watch, I'm all over it. If it's a mechanical watch, I'm all over it. But this kind of watch, I'm not a big enthusiast of it. So different strokes. The next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel. A new Fed study blows a hole in the GOP argument that unemployment benefits caused the labor shortage. It says a new Fed study challenges a key GOP argument on the ongoing labor shortage. The analysis indicated that ending federal unemployment benefits had little impact on job seeking. Republicans often cite the enhanced unemployment checks as a reason Americans didn't return to work. A new study from the Federal Reserve, published Monday, tore a hole in one of GOP's main arguments about the ongoing labor shortage. Under President Joe Biden's stimulus law enacted in March 2021, laid-off Americans received an additional $300 a week. Gig workers were made newly eligible for checks, and the number of weeks Americans could receive unemployment was extended. And Republicans cite that as part of the reason why people didn't go to work. Well, that's not true. Joseph Zabelos Roig and Juliana Kaplan are the authors of this over at businessinsider.com. And I want to scroll down and see. We find small differences in employer hiring activity between these two groups of states, consistent with other recent assessments of the impact of the pandemic UI expansions, the study said. The analysis from the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco found little difference in job seeking between states that ended their expanded unemployment programs early and those that kept them in place until their scheduled expiration in September. In April 2021, the Bureau of Labor Statistics released their monthly hiring data, and the number came in much lower than expected. Economists surveyed by Bloomberg forecast that 1 million jobs would be added. Instead, the country added just 269,000. This is because I think, I would not be surprised if the rest of this article culminates in this, but people are just kind of sick of getting financially abused. They're tired of being told how much they're worth, and it doesn't measure up to being able to go and get fast food. I mean, for 3 people, you can spend $50 on fast food nowadays. It used to be for 3 people, you were paying $30, maybe even 25, depending on where you go. But nowadays, it's $50. It's wildly outrageously priced. Let me scroll up and down to see if there's anything else. So it says research showed that ending benefits early had little to no effect on employment. JP Morgan said cutting benefits was, quote, tied to politics, not economics, last May as GOP-led states began pulling the plug. I agree. It's pithy to say that you're saving money by canceling these freeloaders' lunch, but the reality is it doesn't make a difference because it really wasn't enough to help. It barely helped anybody because it was such a low amount of money. You know, life is expensive, and when you're out of touch with it, then you think that is really cheap, but it's expensive. The next article is, could lab-grown salmon be the future of fish? This is over in the Hatch Ideas channel. The author of this is Katie Nixdorf for BusinessInsider.com, and it has a little video of somebody slicing up some salmon. See, now I love the idea of lab-grown anything. You can control for everything. You can mitigate the additional costs and there's not much here for this article. Oh my goodness, it's just a video. But if it's lab grown, then you can control for everything. Seemingly, research has shown that naturally grown fish, even when it's in controlled environments outside of the lab, right? Not in the lab, but naturally, like fish farms and such, even they have heavy metals in them. And it's troubling to me. I don't want any of these. I don't want mercury, and that's what tends to be in fish. And it gets concentrated inside humans as we consume it. So here's to lab grown. I would love for more lab grown stuff to be more available and less costly. So the next article is over in the continuity report. It says Spirit Halloween store film in the works, starring Christopher Lloyd, Rachel Leigh Cook. With toy-related films all the rage, just look at Play-Doh movie from Emily V. Gordon and John M. Chu, Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig's Barbie movie, and Paramount's Transformers franchise, which apparently is now dead. Halloween fans have been left underserved. Oh, please. Just kidding. They're toy movies, I suppose. Happy, fun movies, I suppose, about Halloween. But it's supposed to be scary. Anyway, Spirit Halloween, the iconic costume and prop store with 1,425 locations across North America, has apparently teamed up to kick off a movie. This is a Variety.com article written by K.J. Yossman. And let's see if I can find something here. They've teamed up with Strikeback Studios, Hideout Pictures, and Particular Crowd for a feature-length family movie called, you guessed it, Spirit Halloween. I'm sure it'll be fun. They've got a couple of pictures. It looks like it might be along the lines of Hocus Pocus, but we'll have to wait and see. They don't really mention that, I don't think, in the article. Nope, not really. So you can go over to Variety and read more about it. But are you going to go over and watch Spirit Halloween, the movie? I don't know. I'll wait for it to come to cable. Har har. I don't have cable. The next article is in the Mobile channel. Even in a virtual classroom, preschoolers can gain reading skills. When the COVID-19 pandemic closed schools nationwide, students of all ages, from high schoolers to advanced placement classes to preschoolers, getting the hang of the ABCs shifted to remote learning on a screen. Click that link and take us over to a phys.org article written by Kim Eckert from University of Washington. And it says here, and while learning to read in an online setting may seem a tall order, a new study by the University of Washington's Institute for Learning and Brain Sciences finds that children can develop key reading skills in a virtual classroom with other students. Researchers say their reading camp program demonstrates not only the effectiveness of the approach, but also the potential to reach larger numbers of students remotely by necessity or by choice. And I agree. I think a lot of problems come from trying to teach children virtually enunciation. It's much more difficult because you don't have one-on-one interaction in a personal manner where they can watch you speak. But reading is reading, and you can encourage reading at arm's length via a display in a Zoom meeting. You can have somebody read to you, and you can read to them. You can read together, and even promote like guiding them through the reading process and what to pay attention to, particularly young kids. And as we grow up, we are going to be using a screen more and more, at least as things go. The next article is over in Hatch Ideas. Every original show and movie you can stream on Paramount Plus, from 1883 to Halo. You didn't think that there was TV in 1883, did you? Anyway, it's a TV show. It's not. Anyway, Paramount Plus is available for $5 a month with ads, or $10 a month ad-free. The streaming service features several original shows and movies you can watch. And here is a link that will take you through a bunch of them. This is over in the businessinsider.com reviews section. It's written by Angela Tricarico and Ben Blanchett. And it has a big old picture of Master Chief. And let's see here. I guess they're going to go through a bunch of the shows over on this page, but 1983. Most notably, 1883, a prequel series to the popular drama Yellowstone, and Halo, inspired by the video game of the same name, are streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus. By the way that this is phrased, it makes it sound like 1883 is a prequel to Yellowstone and Halo, and that's just not how it works. I'm pretty sure I'm explaining this to people that haven't made that mistake, but the way that it's written triggered me. Let's continue on. So they have just a massive list: 1883, 60 Minutes Plus, Before I Forget, etc., all the way down. I'm just going to scroll through some of these: Younger, etc. And let's see, Paramount Plus original movies and documentaries available now, and it continues on and on. Original shows expected to arrive on Paramount Plus: Dora the Explorer, Star Trek shows. It's gonna continue and go, which is great. I'm gonna scroll up real fast. The more the merrier. That's what I want. I want more choices. I want everything kind of pushed out all at once instead of the drip. But Paramount Plus doesn't do that for many of its shows. So if it's new, it will be meted out each week, kind of like old school television. It is what it is. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think I'm done for the day. We're going to leave that right there, leave that right there. And I'm going to scroll back to the very front page of ohmTown. Click that link. And every time you click on ohmTown.com, or you click on the logo in the top left corner of the page, it will refresh the front page and give you another sampling of news. If you do it too fast, then you'll end up with the same news, but the aggregator is reaching out and grabbing little snippets and sorting it into these 50 shows. Again, if you hear this message, come over to Twitch TV, so twitch.tv/ohmTown, and be sure to follow me. And you can always get this via the podcast, ohmTown, or over on YouTube. Just search for ohmTown. We are now at over 100 episodes, so I'm at 101 as of today. And if you want to see more content, you got to let me know. So come over to Twitch in particular, because that's where I do it live. And that's it for today. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Bye-bye.